If you have regularly processed transactions for customers or vendors or journal entries, it may be most efficient to configure them to automatically recur on a usual schedule. Recurring entries can be posted off of a list with a single click, or edited if adjustments are necessary. Within the General Ledger module, open the Recurring Entries tab to list all transactions defined to be recorded on a standard basis. New recurring entries are made by copying an already posted accounts receivable, accounts payable, or ledger journal entry. So when you create one, you need to locate the posted transaction from the source field. This list only displays transactions that can be copied to recur, but you likely will need to use the search box or a filter to locate the one you want, probably from the entity or memo fields. Once selected, give this a good description to identify it, and ensure the status is set as active when you want to start using it. Information about this source transaction, such as the date and the vendor or customer, is displayed here. There is much flexibility on assigning when this transaction recurs. Determine a date range for when new transactions will be available for creating and posting, and the frequency for how often. Commonly, it would be once each month, either on the first or the last day of the month. Or choose a specific date for each month, on a different day that you set other than the first or last. Other possibilities are for recurrences twice each month, instead of once, on 2 different specified days. It could be more frequently, either every 1 week or 2 weeks, on a given day of the week. Or even daily, for a predefined set of days from Monday to either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Or it could be a less frequent recurrence, such as quarterly or annually, for a specific day of the year based on the last occurrence of this transaction. And instead of using the calendar to determine the day, you can choose the recurrence by your fiscal year, beginning or end, to determine the transaction date. Whichever method you pick, the selected recurrence and calculated next transaction date is displayed below, if it is within the date range, to confirm you have chosen the desired method. Processing recurring entries happens when a user who is allowed to do so through user security settings opens the company data. A recurring entries screen appears, listing all the entries with their descriptions that are due or overdue to be processed, even if it happens to be the same entry over multiple due dates. For any entry, you can view the recurring entry setup screen as a reminder. You can simply post the new transaction with the same amounts and accounts as the original transaction, but with an updated transaction date. Use the Edit button to open the entry to see the transaction date and accounts, and perhaps modify them if required before posting. Editing control accounts and respective amounts are not allowed, which means recurring accounts receivable or payable transactions have limitations for modifications. Use the Post button here to commit this edited transaction, and if you selected to print the posting report, you can do so now. Posted recurring entries will not prompt for printing receipt or check forms, so if you require this, then the entries would have to be entered and posted manually. When an accounting transaction involves a foreign currency, an exchange rate is maintained and base currency amounts are calculated. Processing a recurring entry with a foreign currency will use the current exchange rate from the currency setup, rather than the rate from the original transaction. If you need to modify the exchange rate for this particular transaction, editing the entry allows access to the foreign amount and rate fields to accomplish this. If you would like more information about Spire Accounting, access the link in the description below to our homepage. Read the online manual help for additional assistance. Watch more videos from this playlist. And subscribe to the Spire YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.